Crap. Okay, we're good. My name is Alexis Sermon, and last year on the back roads, there was a crash with Mabry Fry and Kyle Morgan. Mabry hit a pothole, and it threw the car in front of a Silverado, and Kyle died. This year, Helen Wang got T-boned while pulling out of a Abel Lake parking lot. Our back roads are horrible. They are god-awful, and I mean god-awful. I ride those things every day. I hate 95. I hate 610. They suck just as well, but the conditions of our back roads are possibly the worst I've seen, and I am always in another place. And examples would be Truslow and Poplar. When you're on these turns, there are drop-offs that can go from literally 3 to 4 feet, and it's just, especially on the turns. Thank you. And when you're taking them, no matter if you change the speed limit, there's always going to be people who push it or drive what they feel comfortable. And so it's less about trying to state new rules and more about trying to make things better. And with those drop-offs, literally just filling in dirt with them would literally help. We have the money, we can do it. And then Raymouth Church to Forge, a bunch of kids take that. Instead of going all the way down to Raymouth, it goes through Kellogg and then Forge. That road, I literally almost got head on with cops. Like, no matter how you drive, it's super narrow and there's a bunch of holes in there. Like, you hit one and your car's gonna jerk. It's just how it is. And then Shelton Shop onto Whining Creek. When you're turning off Whining Creek, it's the same thing. You can barely see to your left, and then the right, it's so narrow that when you pull out, and I drive an SUV, it's hard to not come into oncoming traffic. That's another road. So literally, instead of waiting for someone to die, we need to take care of it now. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else with? Please state your name, but if you're a high school, do not state your address.
Hi, my name is Michael Sampson. I am a former student of Colonial Forge High School, and my address is 53 Bayberry Lane. I was a classmate of Helen's. I was a teammate of Helen's. Helen was a friend. And I am thankful that we are having this conversation. But I am disappointed that it is happening under these conditions. Yes, the roads need improvement. And because you could ask any high schooler who drives to school, and they would tell you exactly where the roads need improvement. I believe that it's important for us to reach out to students and ask these questions, because I know that when I went to Forge, which was last year, and so many of my friends, including myself, would say exactly where we almost died that morning because we had to take a risk, because the roads, in our driver education classes, we're told you need to be driving safe. You need to be following the laws. But when following the laws is not enough to keep you safe out of a parking lot, what do you do then? When the roads you drive on that are funded by your tax dollars are not enough to keep you safe, who's at fault then? Who do you go to? Just today, I was driving here, and the grass was so high that I could not see a car speeding well above the speed limit crossing into my lane of oncoming traffic. And all I could think of was how many other places in the county are just like that. So I ask that moving is too late. Moving forward, we take the opportunity to have these discussions under conditions that are not when someone is no longer with us. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board? And once again, if you're a student, give your name, but do not give your address.
Hi, I'm Helen Wang. I was with Helen that day. We were having a picnic. It was me, 2 other people, and Helen. For some reason, I'm usually always in the car with her. She picks me up for school every morning. We drive to practice. We drive to work. We drive back home together. I've never gone more than 48 hours without seeing her, or more than 2 hours without texting her. The last couple days have been complete misery for us and her family. I pulled out in front of her that day. For some reason, I was driving my dad's car. I wasn't in the car with her. And I can tell you that Helen's always a very, very careful driver. She's always just lets people go first. She's always going just under the speed limit. She freaks out when she goes over. She gets scared a cop might see her or something. So she's always so careful. The problem with this specific accident was she couldn't see. I couldn't see. I pulled out in front of her. I couldn't see the road to the side of me, so I just held my breath, and I went, and I was fine. And then 5 to 7 seconds later, Helen pulls out, and she probably held her breath too, and she went, and she wasn't fine. The vegetation should have been cut up the next day. I think road maintenance is something that definitely needs to be done. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, please come forward.
Hi, my name is Amritha Openani. I'm also a student at Colonial Forge High School, and what I wanted to bring up was that, yes, a tragedy happened, but I was driving down that very same road the next morning, and 90% of the people who were driving it had no clue that it had happened. The wreckage had been cleared up. There was no evidence that Helen had passed away the night before, and what I'd like to know is if there's any way to commemorate Helen's life and allow people to see that something had happened there, so they're not just driving recklessly. I've gone 60 down that road before when I take the old car and it can't get up the road as fast as the new one. And I know how fast people go, but I'd like people to understand that something has happened there, and in order to do that, I think even just a sign commemorating Helen's life or something there just to know that something did happen would be wonderful, and I think it would be a reminder to everyone to drive more safely and to not take as many risks while they're driving. Thank you.
Thank you. Before the next speaker, I would ask BDOT, I believe there is a program that a plaque can be placed at that site. That's an excellent suggestion, by the way. Lynn, I'll let you address that.
Yes, sir. We have a roadside memorial program, and we can have those put up under permit if they're requested. So whether it be by the board or by the family, we're happy to work with you to get those done.
Well, I certainly think we need to consult with the family before any decision's made, but we'll pursue that.
Yeah, we're happy to provide that information if necessary.
If you could, that'd be
Absolutely.
great. Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am. Please come on down.
Hi, my name is Laura Barham, and I'm a student at Colonial Forge High School. I didn't know Helen directly, but the aftermath of her loss has greatly impacted, as you can see, the sea of yellow. Our whole Forge family has just been through the ringer. After her memorial service at the Jeff Ross Center Friday night, a couple ordered, and it seemed like nothing had moved since that day. I even pulled over into where she pulled out of and got hit head on, and I'm just shocked that not even maybe the gravel was brushed. Just like many others, I don't think money is the problem here. I would be willing to even go out myself and be done before another one of our friends is taken too soon. So thank you.
Thank you. As VDOT said earlier in their presentation, that site will be cleared this week, in the next couple of days from vegetation. So thank you very much for bringing that to our attention. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Isabella Miller. I'm a student at Forge as well, but I live in the subdivision that's like less than a mile away, Abel Lake Forest. So I drive that road pretty much every day, and I'd like to call to attention the fact that they're actually looking at plans to implement another 50-home neighborhood right in that area, so it's going to be a lot more traffic on that road, driving that road every single day. And I agree with everything the other speaker, particularly point out the first speaker and the solutions that he made. Paving the road, adding the blind spot mirrors would be a really big thing, and then also adding a sign just stating that there's like a turnoff, because honestly, if you're driving down that road, I've had people go and turn around in really weird places in front of me because they were looking to go into Abel Lake, but they missed the turnoff. Because I know there's people that come from out of the county that create on this lake, and they have no visibility of where the turn-in is, so some sort of sign indicating where the turn-in is. But I also ask, I mean, there's been, 3 accidents in the last probably month that have happened. I know a car just flipped a couple months ago. One of my other friends got into a rear-ended accident on that same spot, and then obviously this death. Why did it take this tragedy for us to look at the improvements we need to make in this road and roads across the county? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Emily Imes. I'm a student at Colonial Forge as well. After this incident, I did a little bit of research to kind of support where I'm coming from. So I went on the Stafford County government website where it cites different construction things that are going on with the different roads. And it states that right now Poplar Road is in a phase 3 of their construction, and Poplar and Mountain View have both gone through phases 1 and 2 of their construction, yet there has been no construction on Ramouth Church Road or Kellogg Mill Road or recently Stefaniga, which are places where there are also major accidents that are occurring. I have 3 printouts of maps in the last 3 years on accidents that have happened on Kellogg Mill. I can give you these after I'm done. On November 16th of 2018, Jeff Branscombe of the Freelance Star put out an article titled Stafford Looking to Fix the Most Dangerous Roads. So why is it, I just want to ask, why is it since then there have been numerous fatal accidents on the back roads of Kellogg Mill Road, yet Stafford County focuses on widening Courthouse Road? The Courthouse Road Interchange project rounds to about $149.4 million, and the widening rounds to $35.9 million, according to a VDOT release document. Traffic can be bad on Courthouse, but few accidents have resulted in deaths on Courthouse. A VDOT document describes the construction on Route 630 states, recent development and continued future growth of the Courthouse Road corridor in adjacent communities requires additional capacity to reduce delays and improve quality of life for residents and visitors of the area. Where is the mention of multiple deaths along a road? Where is the mention of the dangers this road poses as it stands before construction? I'd like everyone to take a minute and let's take a trip down some of these dangerous back roads. On May 16th, 2019, at approximately 4:48 p.m. at 629 Kellogg Mill Road, a dump truck T-boned a Honda Civic carrying 2 teenagers, one who was DOA and one who was ALS, and was transported to Mary Washington Hospital. It was the driver's birthday. Her friends told her happy birthday, they would see her tonight, not knowing what horrible things would follow. The spot she pulled out of has a very large blind curve, which is presumably what aided in the collision. On March 29, 2018, Kyle Morgan, 16, died from injuries sustained in a head-on collision shortly after 7 a.m. that Thursday in the 1900 block of Poplar Road, about 4 miles from Mountain View High School. He was a passenger in a 2005 Honda Accent that crossed the center line and struck a 2003 Chevrolet Silverado, according to a search warrant filed in Stafford Circuit Court. This area of the road has a very sharp curve the driver was trying to avoid. On September 29, 2011, at approximately 4:30 p.m. on Kellogg Mill Road, a 24-year-old male rounded a curve which was too sharp and sent his car into a tree, killing him on impact. He was wearing a seatbelt. Colonial Forge High School is no stranger to the grief and suffering of accidents. Over the course of the 2003-2004 school year, 5 of its students tragically lost their lives in 4 separate accidents. In 2004, Stafford Supervisor Mark Dudenheffer's daughter, Emily, died after a car crash on Mountain View Road due to the twisting terrain. 15 years later, the roads still have not improved. One article is titled, Crashes, Too Many Teens in Cars, as if age is the only thing that plays into car crashes and deaths. Yes, statistically, teenagers do drive more recklessly than adults, but a piece of paper does not represent how well you can drive, and neither does age. I have seen grown men and grown people lose control of their vehicle and drive recklessly. Age is not the only factor in this, and I'd like to take this into account. I would also like to ask questions regarding the case of the May 16th accident.
Miss, I'll have to ask you to wrap up your comments.
No problem.
Thank you.
I am aware that Kellogg Mill is not the only road that is dangerous because of other roads, but I would just like to propose that we take Kellogg Mill Road and do things such as horizontal and vertical curve realignment, typical adjustments such as lane width and sight distance improvements.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to address? Yes, please come down.
Hello, my name is Bianca West. I'm a teacher at Ronnie Thompson, but I am Helen's home coach. I live at 207 Healy Court. As tragic as this is, I would also like to address that until this year, Colonial Forge and a few other high schools have had morning swim practice at the Jeff Rouse Center. Previously, when I swam, it was at Woodlands. We require the swimmers to be there at a little after 5 a.m. to get in an hour's practice, and then to get on the bus in time to get to their respective high school. However, it then falls on the coaches some mornings to make a decision, we're a winter sport, to make a decision as to whether we should cancel due to weather conditions, given that half of Colonial Forge's population, swim team-wise, comes from 17. So given that the opportunity for any high school, not just Colonial Forge, to have practice in the morning at the Rouse Center, I think you should also be looking at what time you address school closures or delays, because it did come down to the coaches some mornings that we have to consider our kids driving on those back roads before you even consider if the kids should be coming or not.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Fulmore, and I live along 17, and I have been driving for less than a year, and it's going to happen. There's always going to be new drivers that live in Stafford County, and as a driver in Stafford County, I prefer back roads to 95 because of how bad traffic is, and I'm sure we all understand that. But the main problems that come across for me is both the fact that on long, many curves, you don't see who's coming on the other side so bad, and I sometimes will go over into the lane because I don't want I want to get a flat tire, and that's always a risk, and I understand that, and I try to be as careful as I can when I do that, but that's along many roads in Stafford County. Green Bank Road has multiple turns where you cannot see from your left or from your right, and I hold my breath, and I just hope that I try to listen as best as I can. And Kellogg Road is one of the worst roads. I drive there every morning. I drive there every afternoon, and I know that you guys obviously have it clear in your head that that is a road that needs to be focused on. But basically, I would just request that you look among all the back roads, because teenagers lived all over Stafford County, all along the back roads, and oftentimes we can't see what's coming from the left or right, and we're not as experienced as older drivers to know what are the telltale signs that a car is approaching. So I think it would be really honoring to look into the back roads, look at the potholes that oftentimes cause drivers to go into the other lanes, because that's, I think, a big problem, and just visibility and what the mirror and everything. I'm sure that's a really cheap and really effective thing that could be put into thought into all these turns that take lives or cause accidents, and that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Hi. My name is Alex Goodwin. I am a government teacher at Colonial Forge High School. A lot of these kids, some of them are my students. I just wanted to say that I am extremely proud of them for what they're doing today. I try to tell them not that if they see something in government, to be the change, to go out and make the change happen, not just complain about it or sit on Twitter about it, but do something about it. And to see them come out and actually try and do something about it today is remarkable to me. I'm very proud of all of them, those that are my students, those that are not my students. I just wanted to say that they're doing things the right way. They're coming here. They are presenting the problem to you guys. They are asking you to help them and solve it. So they're putting their faith in you to do something and solve this problem. So help them out here, and don't just, show them that the Stafford County government is something worth putting faith into. Okay? That's all.